There's been a new build for Nami that's been gaining popularity, and it revolves around Horizon Focus. This item was buffed in 25.17, where the AP was increased and the price was decreased. I used to work in finance, and I know value when I see it, but if you don't believe me, Horizon Focus is now 136% gold efficient, making it one of the most broken items in the game. Nami synergizes well with it because of how easy she can trigger the Hypershot active. To trigger the active of Horizon Focus, you need to deal ability damage to a champion at 600 or more units. If you hover over Horizon Focus, this is the 600 range. Bubble is 850 range, W is 725 range, and it works on the bounce. E works with your allies, and R is 2750. I think the most broken interaction is with her E because you can be super far from an enemy, but you can E your teammate to give them movement speed to catch up to an enemy where they can just auto to not only give them vision around the area, but to also mark them with your mandate. I normally dislike mage items on support because they're usually too expensive, but I think Horizon Focus is an exception. The cost effectiveness and the fact that it builds from 2 fiendish codexes makes being stuck on components not feel as bad. Here are the runes and items that I ran. Third item, you can generally flex into whatever you need. Yo, what's up guys? This commentary is going to be a little different. I wanted to go over a game that I had on stream. This was 10 days ago, and it was me testing the Horizon Focus Nami and kind of giving my thoughts on it. This game started out honestly really terrible, and then it got a lot better. We'll start with the champion select. So here I was thinking of going Janna. Their comp is very bad for Janna because Corki and Caitlyn kind of counter her. Basically, you don't want to pick Janna into teams that have a lot of poke where I can't peel. So I decided to lock Nami on as the 4th pick when they have these champions showing. I think Nami is just one of the best blind picks. She can pretty much, she has a lot of tools to deal with just a bunch of different things. So they pick Caitlyn Karma. I guess like if I did play Thresh, if I played Thresh at the level that I played Enchanters, like Thresh would be really good on when they were showing Corki Silas Caitlyn. But they end up picking Caitlyn Karma into Nami, which is honestly not that bad. This lane is pretty terrible in the beginning because if Caitlyn Karma get prio early, then if you're playing Jinx Nami, you're just going to be hugging tower the entire game. But the one good thing about this matchup is that Nami has a lot of sustain, so if there is an enchanter that you want to pick into that, it's going to be Nami. Normally you'd want to play Hook, but I didn't know. I was blind into their support, and I don't really play Hook champs on the main. So Nami is pretty good here. You are going to outscale them. Lane is going to be really terrible, but yeah, you just have to like try to survive. We honestly both outscale them, Jinx Caitlyn to Nami Karma. So level 1, I go to the entrance of our jungle. I go 5 point. I'm sitting in C bush here, and I actually end up getting invaded. I initially thought it was because my mid laner didn't watch the flank from mid, and I thought they wrapped around. But actually, after I watched the VOD, they ended up enemy invaded mid through just walking around this little corner. I think I checked at the end here, like what happened. Let me see where it is. Yeah, so after the game, I checked the VOD to see if it was my bad, and let me see where it is. Yeah, so they actually wrap around the corner here. So what I ended up needing to, I realized I needed to just stand at more further out in the corner to see them wrap here. So that's one good thing to really know. If you have a 5 point and you're in C bush on red side, you have to step out a bit to actually see them. So sorry, let me go back here. Basically, we get invaded level 1, and I end up dying because Silas just jumps on me, and yeah, so that really sucks. And then fast forward, this is actually really crazy what ends up happening here. I'm walking back to lane, and then I actually end up getting cheesed again in this bush. So I'm just, my early game is just completely ruined. Like I have to recall 200 HP. I'm gonna lose out on these waves. Really sucks losing Prio into Caitlyn Karma because we're just gonna get bullied. And basically, how I could have avoided this cheese was just walking with the minions to lane. But yeah. So I walk back to lane. Jinx is just hugging tower. She can't really walk up. And we just get bullied here. Not really much we can do. Yeah, this is why you want to avoid getting cheese as much as possible. Well, it's pretty obvious, but like, yeah, the higher up you go, the more games you play. Like, you have to be just very aware and prepare for like the early game cheese because stuff like games like this just become so hard to play. And if I just stepped out a little bit further in C bush or walk with the minions to lane here, like it wouldn't be this bad. But like I said, I am playing Nami, so this is kind of like it sucks, but I'm kind of playing the best enchanter to um like deal with this sort of like Caitlyn Karma lane. And so they're just going to push in our wave and we can't really do anything. We're just trying our hardest to last hit. Viego is clearing top to bot, but yeah, there's like honestly no saving this lane. Like they're already level 3. I'm so behind because I missed a lot of minions. So we're kind of just sitting here. And just kind of like praying that we make it to lane. In situations like this, you don't really you you can't and don't want to take any trades with the enemy because yeah, their Caitlyn Karma is I just can never walk up. And so we're just trying our hardest to last hit. And this goes on for like the entirety of the lane pretty much. The way like they're just constantly pushing, harassing us. We're just trying to get as many minions as possible and just rinse and repeat. I'm just spamming heals off cooldown. That's why I'm out of mana. Jinx is still half HP, which is like okay. Viego is making the right call here of not going bot because if their jungler matches the gank, then we kind of just lose. So, as you can see here, Karma is out of mana, and this is like we're doing okay. Like I'm out of mana. Basically, I'm just we're just trading. Karma hits us, I just heal us, and so um we have a lot of sustain, and we're kind of like doing a good job. Caitlyn is down, or Caitlyn is up a lot of CS. Jinx is trying her hardest. I think she's down like I hold on. I hit tab here somewhere. I think it was like 43. I think Jinx is down like 20 CS, and it is what it is. I can't really do too much. So here, see Karma back. Caitlyn is still here. I decided to recall here because I want to match Karma's recall timer. Otherwise, if I don't, we're going to be stuck here for a very long time. It's pretty important to match the enemy support's recall if you know that they're recalling because you'll have a otherwise you won't have a good timer to recall yourself and also to match a roam if they do end up taking it. So grubs are coming up in 17 seconds. Viego is pinging that he wants to go to it. Karma is shown here. Yasuo is dead. So I check here. Right there, I hovered over Yasuo's TP to see if he has TP because otherwise, if he didn't have TP, I think we just leave grubs and then we go back bot. But because he does have TP coming up very soon, I walk mid. Normally you don't want to show yourself, but here like I need to get I don't want to hide myself and lose 6 minions worth of EXP. I'm also really close to 6 here, but I end up just rotating because I know my Viego is like going. And it's honestly pretty bad to show yourself rotating on the minions because they know that I'm entering. And to be honest, it is pretty dangerous. Wait. think I saw Karma walk bot here. Hold on, I'm going back. The Karma is bot. Okay, so I actually end up going mid here because I know that Karma is bot. After Yasuo died, she wasn't walking up, she was walking back into lane. So I was okay with face checking here because I know Karma is bot. And Viego is near me, so if Corki jumps on me, we're good. And also, Yone had prio top, so I knew this was good for us. So after we get the kill, I get 6 here. And I'm just trying to help Viego. I see that Jinx is getting jumped by Silas and then ends up dying to Karma. So I know that I can take a recall here because Silas is bot. So I know Viego's going to be able to get grubs, so I go back and I want to check our blue to see if Silas is on it. Silas is probably on it because he is bot side, and it just makes sense for him to do it because he knows that we're on grubs since Corky saw. Went to check the bush. He was in there, and I misstep a bit here, but I think we end up living. Okay, so Viego actually comes, and yeah, so I guess Viego dies here. Hold on, let's go back. Let's see what happens here. I don't remember this game because it's been 10 days, but I just remember this was like a good game that I wanted to showcase. So okay, so they kill Viego mid, or Viego kills their mid laner, and then he starts walking down here. We try fighting. I'm really low. I'm hovering, just trying my best to stay in the fight. Viego steps on a trap, dies, and then yeah, at this point, like this is really bad for us. Jinx and I lose out on so much here because we lose on this fight, and so they're able to push. We probably lose like 2 waves. Bot side's probably gone, and so I just walk straight bot here. I can't go mid because he also is recalling. And so I'm just trying to de-ward. I'm assuming that they're gonna back here because Silas was on the map for a while. It kind of just makes sense. So I'm taking the time to just try to ward. I can't ward try there because if Silas is there, I just kind of die. And so I just decided to go for Pixel. I walk around the Scuttle Crab to ward here. So this ward is actually like an amazing ward. I hit this vision cone, but this ward here is really amazing because you're able to see mid and bot rotate either through ramp or through river. And so because we don't have prio bot, it's most likely that if Karma were to roam, she can roam from honestly either way of river and through their try, right? And this ward just covers it both. As opposed to me warding raptors, that's a pretty common ward if you are on red side. That ward is better if you have more prio bot, but this ward is better if you're more defensive on red side. So I drop like these are pretty good defensive wards. We don't have a lot of prio, and then I walk back bot. One thing to note: if Scuttle Crab is taken, you never want to walk over it. You always want to go around, like I did there. So late game state, bot is still fried. Our game plan again is to just try to survive. We are gonna outscale Caitlyn Karma. It is gonna suck, but I think after like once Jinx gets like 2 items compared to Caitlyn 2 items, we should be good. And so we're just playing really safe, not opting to take any trades because if we do trade aggressively, we can just easily get dove. So all my wards in river gets cleared, and we're just trying to de-ward, establish vision again. Talia comes bot. This fight is very scuffed because okay, I'm backing up, but Viego's picking dragon. it's really hard for us to try to help him here because we're just so behind, right? This fight is like really awkward because there's two fights that happen, one on the topside river with Viego and us at the bottom. Also, like if you look at the game state now, it makes no sense for Viego to want to try to get Dragon here. After Yasuo died mid, there's no prio mid or bot. So this is just objectively a terrible call to make if you're Viego. So yeah, again, we're just dewarding. I know I can walk up here. Actually, okay, pause. This was a bit unsafe to walk up to ward slash deward because Karma walks into the river and Silas also disappears into the river from mid. I think like I knew I had a little timer here before Silas could theoretically be in try, but this is also a really common spot where a lot of players throw, is that they assume that the enemy is on dragon, right? I mean, it makes sense to assume that, but what can happen is that instead of going for dragon, they can just wait for you to they can wait and try for like a couple seconds to see if bot lane rotates, and that's a pretty common way a lot of players kind of throw. So I shouldn't even check this, to be honest, because we should just assume that they are on dragon, and even if they are on dragon, we can't contest it at all because Yasuo is dead. So this was a little mistake by me, but I wanted to kind of point that out so we all can avoid that in the future. And so we see that there's 3 topside mid. So we push Caitlyn here, but their top laner is bot, which is like really random. There's no real reason for Talia to come bot. I think our top side is winning, so I'm assuming what happened is that Talia is kind of like rage roaming sort of thing. So this really throws us off. Luckily, I was able to disengage and we were able to get out. But she does TP back. I just missed the cancel, which really sucks, but it is what it is. It's like just very hard for me to walk up there or know she was going to TP. So I was just playing super safe. Jinx almost steals it, goes for the rockets. I end up recalling here because I have a codex and we have a little timer before. So we cleared the wave and then we go for reset here. This is like an okay timer because our wave state's resetting to neutral and there's a bit more time for them to walk from dragon to bot to be able to push it. So take the recall timer here. We have codex. Jinx is pinging that we should be careful of their jungler potentially being in this little area. Honestly, I ignore it because I think I just was reading chat, but I think it should have been fine just because we have a ward in try. I guess like he could have theoretically wrapped around through sea bush to go like path to wolves to Gromp, but I was I don't know. I think we were fine. So going back bot, right now, so if we look, I'm level 6, Jinx is 7, Karma's 8, and Kaylin is 9. Karma has a full Moonstone. It's a little covered, but Karma has a full Moonstone. I think we do have a chance to... Oh, never mind. I was going to say, like, we might have had a chance to fight them for a little bit just because we bought stuff, but we were just so behind and they already, even when I did recall, like, they had a full item over me. So and then also Silas was here, so then we just kind of die. So wait, I wanted to highlight this. Sorry, that was my headset. I want to highlight this part. So one little micro movement you can do on Nami is you can use your abilities on yourself to give you movement speed and dodge abilities. And you'll see that I do it right here. Let me slow down this part. You can see right here, I use E. My E comes up. And when Silas is going to use his stun on me, I actually use E on myself to give myself the movement speed to dodge the E. So right when I get the movement speed from E, I actually just hard turn left, then run straight because I know Silas is going to go for the stun here. So that's a little micro tip that you can use on Nami. That's super helpful. So bot falls. I'm 0-2. This sucks. Honestly though, being 0-2 for how terrible lane started, 13 minutes is like probably the best I could do, honestly. I mean that last death could have been avoided for sure if we didn't walk up and just kind of gave tower, but honestly not too bad. I mean it could always be worse, right? But yeah, I don't think it's that bad. When I die, I walk mid because their bot lane is swapping mid, and so right when I walk there, Yasuo dies. Jinx is coming back. I look to recall here because I have mandate. I'm just trying to throw down as many wards as I can. I knew I was going to recall just very soon because I knew mandate was soon. I was really close to mandate, but I didn't want to wait in base. So I'm throwing down defensive boards here. I have mandate now. I'm gonna walk back mid because usually when bot tower falls, this is like when you enter the mid game, and then we want to go mid. Now, same thing sort of happens. I think it's a little better for us because, excuse me, it's a little better for us because I can rotate a lot more easier to other lanes. And so even though we are behind, I have like a bit more freedom. Sorry, I'm jumping back here. As we are sitting mid, I'm trying to get defensive wards on the sides, which is how I spotted Corki. It's honestly pretty. This is like the safest way you're going to be able to ward over is from this area to middle bush. It is a little risky for me to walk up here, just because the enemy could be sitting in this bush, but this is like your next best bet of being able to ward. Just warding over this wall into the mid bush, and then we see Corki. I think I was okay with walking up there because Viego was on wolves, and I have flash and heal, so we're able to see Corki. And then I'm trying, Viego is pinging that he wants Herald, so I'm trying to de-ward this area. This setup of the control ward in your jungle and then the regular ward over is basically the opposite of the ward that I always kind of talk about that's super useful, where you have the control ward. If you have control of the river, you have the control ward here, and then you have the ward over. This is kind of like denying the play. So if you are on your back foot playing more defensive, this setup is very helpful. So I don't have sweeper, but I do ward it, so we can maybe try to go for Herald. And it's really good that we are going for Herald here because Yone is pretty much the only one that's ahead. I don't know if Yasuo is ahead. I'm assuming he's like not based on like what happened in the early mid, but it's really good to play around your strongest players, right? So Yone has Prio, he's walking over, they're taking a fight here. I'm trying to help, Corki flanks us, and then I have to flash out, unfortunately. And then I end up dying. So play ended up being bad, but this was definitely the way we wanted to sort of play it. Yasuo is splitting, so I think they sent 5 here because Yasuo is not getting contested. Corki, oh yeah, so Corki is supposed to match Yasuo, but he ended up just going mid instead of answering the side. And we actually didn't know, so we pushed forward and then we end up dying. But yeah, it's like definitely could have been avoided, but it's kind of okay because they're pushing the sides. Yone actually ends up dying. The score is 16-7. This like really sucks. De-warding here. Next objective is gonna be dragon, but I have a lot of defensive wards. Again, like the game plan now, you should always have a game plan when you're playing. The game plan now is to just try and scale because we outscale them really hard. Yeah, so we start mid. After we die, we start mid. We're hitting mid tower, and then Caitlyn tries to 2v1 us. Let me go back. So both die. Karma's actually mid. Karma, Corki show mid. Karma's backing. This is a big reason why you don't want to back on Vision, because I saw that Karma is backing on Vision. So mid is, we can hit mid tower, and I know Caitlyn's going to be alone. So then she egos this and 2v1s. Jinx actually ends up dying, but I actually end up getting the shutdown of 679. And this is where like the game kind of turns. So everyone kind of flanks mid. I'm able to disengage, but Caitlyn gives her shutdown. Honestly, this is like true 80 carry fashion. They're super ahead. They ego a fight, they lose, and then now it's like, oh. I feel like, especially if you're playing Caitlyn, it's just so bad because she falls off so hard. So after we get the kill on Caitlyn, team wants to get dragon. Everyone's actually here. So we go to dragon. I have one ward here. I ward over. That ward is very nice to have when you are taking dragon. So let's slow this down and kind of talk about this. I'm gonna back up here. We're all walking to dragon. I have one control ward and one regular ward. I don't want to control ward the river bush, because they know that we're on this. And when you are going to be taking dragon, like I think having a control ward in the middle bush is a lot more useful when dragon's coming up and you're making it hard for the enemy to walk in. But because dragon is up and we're all already there, like when you're taking it, you don't want the control ward in the outside. Like I throw it in the pit to deny vision and then I ward over. And this setup is just a lot better if you are taking dragon. My ward unfortunately there's a control ward over, so it gets denied, but we also get vision orb. So they have vision on us. I end up sitting in C bush because I'm trying to catch people with bubble as they rotate in. Karma, I don't know if this is warded or she's just assuming that I'm in this bush because she saw me walk in with vision. But she walks out right as I bubble, and I'm like, okay, well that sucks. I'm blast coning over to get back with my team. And I think we end up getting dragon, but Yasuo Jinx dies. Viego's coming around. I'm trying to hover, but nothing happens. So the trade ends up becoming 2 for 3, 3 on their end. We get dragon. I want to recall here, but Viego, I know Viego is looking for something, so I stay in this bush, make sure it's not warded, just to see if they walk up. And they do end up walking up. I get a bubble, but Viego's not there. Also, Yona's top, so it's like really hard for us to look here. I'm sitting at an angle where I can ult. So this angle is very nice because when I start my ult, the enemy can't see it because it's going to be in the wall, right? So Caitlyn Karma can't see this ult until like right now, and by then it's too late, right? And the way I angle this is like really important to understand as like a Nami main. I'm angling it in a way where it makes it so that they either have to it's basically cutting behind them, right? It makes it so that Karma or Caitlyn have to either walk forward, or I guess Caitlyn could technically still dodge this, but Karma can't. So it's in that sweet spot where it's cutting them uh, separately, and if they want to avoid it, they either have to walk forward, which is good for us because it makes it really hard for them to just leave, or they get hit by it if they want to walk back, right? So I hit Caitlyn. I hit both of them here. Follow up with Bubble. That was a really good E by Caitlyn to dodge it, but we end up getting a double kill. And we're close to killing Talia, but she dips out. Yeah, it's just when you're playing support, it's really important to like hover areas around and just kind of being aware that this sort of play is possible. Making sure that you're cutting out vision, making sure you're not seen, and then just like hovering areas where you think there could be a potential play. So we end up killing Caitlyn Karma. I take reset. Baron is up in 5:45. Drake's up in 3:30. I'm going topside because this is pretty much where the only play is possible. Yone is splitting bot. Everyone is showing top. So they try to dive. Really good chompers by Jinx, but she ends up dying. This was my bubble was actually horrendous here, but yeah, this bubble actually doesn't make any sense at all, right? I'm putting Q on top of chompers, which makes no sense. It would make more sense for me to put the bubble in front of chompers, because that way, like, Corky's trying to avoid chompers, so he's not going to run into it. And then that it would just cover more space. So I should be putting it more forward. Unfortunately, Corky still would have dodged it with his W, but yeah, that Q just doesn't make sense. Obviously, like, when you're playing a skill shot champion, you want to cover as much area of space where the enemy can't play, and that was just, yeah, that Q made no sense. Jinx ends up dying. Otacon is coming up, so I'm running down mid bot because I want to try and have set up vision for us. I see this control ward. I put the ward over. I can't farm mid myself, so there's no point of me staying. And so I'm with Viego trying to set this up. This is... Yeah, I'm with Viego, so I kind of face check this, and then we're trying to D-ward. Jinx should be going mid here to push it out, but she ends up going bot. And so it's a little awkward because mid is just kind of, it's not neutral, but it's almost neutral. And so, yeah, it would have been better. It would have made more sense if Yasuo or Jinx went mid, but both of them went bot, which is fine because Yasuo ends up going mid. It's just a little awkward. And so our team is pinging that, oh, hey, like, we want to push lanes before we go for Otacon, which makes sense. You always want to kind of play this way. He also is pinging that he has TP and he's splitting top. So that's all the pings that are that's what's being communicated through the pings. I think it's important to be able to know like what your teammates are doing, what they want. Enemy is clearing us out on vision, but we are getting prio in the other lanes. I have no wards, so I want to recall. We know that Otacon isn't they're not on Otacon, and so I'm okay with taking the recall here because uh we know that they're not on it, right? I think a lot of supports tend to be a little antsy when it comes to Otacon, but Otacon honestly takes a while for an enemy to do, right? And obviously that like depends on the enemy comp and stuff, but you could be okay. You should be okay with just being okay. Let me rephrase this. You should be. It's a skill to know like you can leave Otacon and know how much time it takes for them to do it. So you can take windows like this. Okay, so let's pause this. We they did clear us out. Oops, I did not mean to do this. We did the enemy does end up clearing vision from us, so they take control of the river, but we have prio in other lanes. And so they're like pretty scared to do it because it's gonna be a pretty close fight. Like they're ahead by a little bit, but we've scaled, like we're pretty strong now, so it's not gonna be like easy for them to take. And so we end up taking this fight because Yasuo is splitting top because he has TP, right? He sees Corki is top. He ends up, I'm just looking at the minimap here, by the way. He sees that Corki is top, and then he takes the TP bot, and then we want to take this fight, right? Because Yasuo is going to be first here. So we push forward. I get an ult here. I angle this in a way where I'm splitting the enemy team. So, right, like this, it definitely could have been better. Okay, I know it's a meme where it's like you completely miss a skill shot and you're like zoning, but like that, like it's real. Like especially on Nami with ults like this. I think this could have been like a lot better though. Like I think I could have held it for after Silas goes for stun, or maybe I could have waited for a better angle, but I wanted to just like force the engage really hard because Yasuo was going to be at this fight before Corki. So this fight happens. This fight is like super chaotic. I'm looking to E Jinx. We end up just like wiping them. And then we go take Otacon. Enemy is hovering. I'm trying to ward over. When you're playing support and you're taking Otacon, you always want to ward try on whichever side the enemy is. Just taking this. Viego engages, and then we end up getting 2 kills, and yeah, it like works out for us. Honestly, if you're Silas and Corki here, it doesn't make sense to contest us because it's a 2v5, right? So like they're wasting their time just hovering this. Like there's no way ever like it makes sense for them to be here, right? Like we're all or sorry, it's a 4v2, but like they should just look to give Otacon and look to push out mid or bot or top, just like any other wave, but they end up saying, and then Viego gets to engage. By the way, also another important thing, if you have a numbers advantage and you're taking an objective and the enemy is hovering you, like you just want to force and engage. This advice is pretty relevant to supports because if you have a lot of supports tend to have engage abilities. Even for Nami, it's like I would want to force a fight if I had ult here. So we get the objective. I have Horizon Focus now. And now I'm probably going to look to set up the Baron side. Start mid, go Baron. Same deal. Just walking out here first because Viego's here. Now, oh, I thought I was going to control word that. I think I don't control word that because um I won't be able to defend it because Viego is clearing. Jinx is backing. I didn't know Jinx was gonna back, but I only really like putting control ward there when my team is like around. So yeah, that ward gets cleared, which is fine. It's not my control ward. Put the control ward here. Do the same setup. Yasuo is not going to side lane. He ended up just coming around here. I'm throwing down a bunch of defensive wards because I'm going to immediately reset and then try to leverage those wards for more vision. This ward here, this is a really great ward to put down if you can't walk into the river. It's just very safe because you can do it from your side of the jungle and it catches enemies rotating from bot to Baron pit. And so I'm out of wards. I want to reset. get more wards, and then try to retake Baron. Try to retake Baron area again. And so at this point, the score is 22 and 20. I would say it's still pretty even. I think we are tipping the scales because we're a Jinx Nami 24 minutes in. My team is here to back us up on the retake. And so we see all of them here, and we force this fight. Honestly, I don't know why we really force this fight. I feel like... Oh, so Corki's top. Corki and Yone are both top, but we end up just, like, taking this fight. Yasuo really wants to take it. Talia's mid. And then this is where the clip was in the beginning for Horizon focus. Again, i.e. Jinx. That, like, it's actually really crazy if you think about, like, how much you can buff your teammate from how far you are. Like, I'm basically... I'm behind Jinx. I'm, like, back line, right? I'm behind Jinx. I E her. I'm able to give her movement speed, and I'm able to give her more damage with Mandate, slow, and then now give her vision because of Horizon focus. So she's able to get a lot of autos off here. They're able to disengage by just running away, and then I'm warding over. When you are fighting, it's always good to just ward bushes, so fights aren't awkward. Get the bubble here. Jinx is just able to get so many autos off here because they are on Yasuo. I'm trying my best to just hover with my CDs, and then we end up winning this fight. We get hit by the Talia. Talia's really weak, so that us getting hit there wasn't bad. And so Yone wants to go for Dragon, but we are able to get Talia, and then we switch over to Baron, and now we have Baron. So we have Baron now. Dragon's up in a minute 30. Game plan now is to start mid, and then same old, just set up Dragon. Caitlyn is topside, so I'm assuming they're going to... I'm assuming that Caitlyn is kind of like rage splitting at this point, because I feel like she being top here doesn't really make sense. Yeah, like Corki is mid for some reason, but they should be swapping. So sorry, I went back. Starting mid again. Warding over. Yasuo was top. Viego takes a fight here, which I don't really like. He slips into them, and our Yasuo is not here. We end up wiping them though. And Drake's still up in 50. Try to get the bubble over the wall. Doesn't connect. And then Caitlyn dies. And I think this is... No, I don't think we end here. So we end up just diving them mid because Caitlyn is alone. We can just dive them. I mean, we are... it's 27 minutes in the game. Turret shots don't hurt that much when you have a full team. And then we get inhib. As we're walking back, I'm sweeping. Wait, do I ward as I'm walking back? No. So I actually don't have any wards. I don't want to use a control ward on this dragon because we already confirmed. We already pretty much get it. And then resetting. Pushing mid. We have Baron. Did we end here? Yeah, and then we end the game there. So that was that game. I think this game, like I said, early game was bad, late game was really good. In terms of Horizon focus, I think that this item is... The thing that sold me on Horizon focus was like this fight here. And yeah, just Jinx being able to buff Jinx from a screen away to give her like all that stuff. I mean, technically it's still like she was still able to do that with just mandate, you know, but giving the vision there really helps her kind of navigate a fight, and I think that's what really makes it broken. It is expensive. I was stuck on two components for a bit this game, but I mean it's two Fiendish codexes, which is not bad because it is CDR. Yeah, and this game we also started like super behind, but yeah, we were able to kind of come back. So yeah, that's the Nami game. Try out the Horizon Focus and let me know what you think. Thank you.